Okay, so what's happening here? They're avoiding any kind of coordination, and the result is it's very difficult to see relationships. How do you work with a student to solve this problem? I tell them to focus on the subjects and verbs in their main clauses, because that's where the meat is, that's where the meaning is, that's where the content at least should be. And then look to see what the relationships are between those ideas and ask yourself some questions. So I will say, okay, here we have a sentence. We should not rely so heavily on oil. All right, and here's another one. Coal and uranium are also overused. My first question is, for you, are they equally important? And students, oh yes, yes, equally important. Almost always equally important. I said, okay, well then what relationship are you talking about? And sometimes I ask them to just tell me something, and they'll use the word and. And I said, okay, then that's probably the relationship you want. And maybe you can connect it with and then they say, well, I'm going to put and right here and a comma. Yes, well, that's one way you could do it. But look at your subjects and verbs. What meaning now are you talking about? Well, we shouldn't rely on something, and that this is overused. What's the meaning there? And can we combine them? I think the student means that oil and coal and uranium are similar, with addition, about equal importance. So isn't there some way we can combine these? If it's and if it's equal, why put it in a separate sentence and not show that closer and relationship? Okay, so we could think about joining that, and then, all right, what's happening here? We have a substantial energy resource in the moving waters of our river. What relationship does this idea have to this combined one? Okay, always asking, okay, you have this sentence now, what's the relationship with the next? Look at subjects and verbs, see if you can pull out what that relationship is. Let me go on to the next one now, and we can see one possible way to put it together. And in this case, I'm only talking about coordinating ideas. Okay, so these three similar things, put them all together. Now, what's the relationship between them? Could be anything, but student wants to stress cause and effect. Okay, to illustrate coordination, I'm joining it with for. Do I think it should really be for? No, because this to me is not some very, very, very important cause. I would never do this. But to illustrate coordination, if you see a cause and effect relationship, there it is. And then just going on, asking always the question, what's the relationship between the ideas, and are they equal or not? If the answer is they are equal, then we're going to join in with the coordinators, and we're going to make sure we're expressing the right relationship. I tell my students, nobody else can do this for you. Nobody can get inside your head and answer those questions. Okay? Anybody, a secretary, a good editor, can, correct your prepositions, correct your articles, say no, you have to have an S on the third person singular verb. But they have to do this. Sometimes we don't even recognize that there's a problem. If they say it's cause and effect and this important, we believe them. So it's a matter of teaching these relationships the long way of having them do it, asking the questions. It's a matter of teaching them what questions to ask. Okay, so I added this to my lesson plan for this writing class. And then next class, I get something like this. Okay, so now they're back to where they were before. Okay, yes, no, they still don't understand. They're taking a step though. It's slow, you bring them back. I think you have to knock it down and then step by step building back up. So again, technically correct. But I have to ask them the same questions again. Of all these things, which one or ones are more important? And get that information in main clauses, and then deal with the subordinate ideas, getting them into subordinate grammar structures that aren't equal. So again, one possible way